Okay. This is the nomination and election committee certification for the 2022 AGM. It's Wednesday, November 9th, and we did this remotely because Gail's in Seattle and couldn't make it up today. And so we'll call this meeting to order at 6:03, whatever it is.
I have 6:01, but that's fine.
Okay. I got 6:01 too on my computer. I guess my clocks.
Figure the satellites are accurate.
Okay. Roll call is Gail Turillo
I'm here.
and Michael Wadsworth, and I'm here. Okay, so we're gonna adopt the agenda.
I move to adopt the agenda.
And I guess since there's two of us, I'll second it.
Okay.
And then do we need to read the minutes?
I don't think so. They're available on the website.
Okay. Well, then the next is approval of the 11/5 minutes of our organizational meeting.
Well, I move to approve those minutes.
Okay, and I'll second it.
Okay.
So that takes care of that. I have a minor.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Yes.
Aye. Okay.
Unanimous. Okay.
I have a question about do we need to do anything about the agenda that we had for the November 5th meeting, organizational meeting? We have the minutes, but we also we did make up an agenda that I got off that I had, but at any rate,
I don't think we have to do anything with that meeting. We have the minutes of it attached.
Okay.
And it was a pretty ad hoc meeting in many ways, you know.
Yes. Okay, I just wasn't sure. Okay, moving to number 5, 2022 AGM certification. Do you have any comments?
Well, since it's just you and me, Michael, I would refer both of us and anyone who's listening in to your report that is. I'm not sure that these documents got on in the packet for this meeting, but they will be in the packet for tomorrow night's board meeting. So do you have it in front of you? You could just recap it really quickly if you think that would be helpful to anyone paying attention.
Okay, what we're certifying is the AGM 2022 meeting. There were 3,122 ballots, 3,122 ballots. 3,011 were domestic, 111 were sent to foreign addresses. Duplicate ballots requested and mailed out was 32, and there was one new owner request and mailed out. All the ballots collected, 1,097. 645 were mailed to Unilec, 414 were dropped in the box. There were no budget only ballots. There were 4 ballots that were not signed. They were put in the outside pink envelope this year and they weren't signed. There were 3 that did not have the outside envelope. They were just in their security envelope, so there was no signature and no idea who they were. I spent a bunch of time calling people about the 4 ballots that weren't signed, and I think we got 2 of them to come in and sign them. The other 2 I don't think made it. They were either out of town or something, but we left messages Friday and Saturday. There were 22 ballots that were undeliverable. 6 were remailed to updated ballot addresses. And that was because people move and change addresses and don't follow through or let Sudden Valley know. And there were 76 ballots received at Unilec on Monday morning that were postmarked after the cutoff date. So they didn't get in before Thursday night at 3:30, and they left to come up here, and that was the mail-in cutoff date. So we didn't find out about those until Monday morning when they went and got the mail, and that was we got a copy of all the postmark dates. And so out of that, Stuart Mitchell, Andrew Tischler, Linda Bradley, Nancy Alleneck, and Asa Andrade were elected to the board. AJ, Stewart, and Linda were elected to 3-year terms, and Nancy and Asa were elected to 1-year terms. As for the measures on the ballot, measure 1 was approved by 738, rejected by 297. So the percentage of it was 71% or 67% approval. So that one passed. Measure 2, 756 for, 320 against. That one was at 68.92%. So that one passed. And measure 3, 758 were a yes, and 301 were no. And so that one passed with a 70% approval. Unilec, at the end of, after all the ballots were counted and tabulated, there was not enough. Our bylaws say that if it's within 8 votes, you have to do a recount. And there was one, Nancy and Asa's vote totals were 1 point apart, or 1 vote apart, but they both got elected. And so there was no reason to recount for that. The next nearest one was, I think, 8 or was 10. And so there was nothing qualified for a recount. They did do what they call a ballot reconciliation twice to make sure that all the numbers matched. Both times they ran through the original and 2 what they call reconciliations, and everything matched 3 times essentially. And so they certified their process and gave us the results, and they were presented at the AGM. So is there any other discussion on this?
Well, we do have some recommendations going forward, but you thought you'd bring them up to the board tomorrow night. Do we want to allude to them at all now, or would you rather?
No, we're just going to certify the election. We'll bring up our mission statement and what we have talked about and would like to do in the board and at our next meeting, which we have already scheduled. But so let's finish the certification here, point 5 on our agenda.
Well, I will move to approve the certification documents and forward them to the board.
I will second that.
Okay,
And all in favor?
you and me.
Aye. Okay, so unanimous.
Okay.
And then we want to announce our next meeting, and I think we've discussed this, and we are going to meet on November 28th at 6:30 p.m. And it will be a live in-person meeting. I haven't got a direct location yet as to whether it's going to be in the multi-purpose room at the fitness center or the library. There's a meeting room in the library. or there is a room upstairs in the new Welcome Center.
Oh, that could be fun.
But I've heard that was the lunchroom, so I really don't know. We haven't got a location yet, but it'll get posted on Sudden Valley website under N&E in committees. So anything else?
Well, our goal is now to have regular meetings the last Monday of each month, correct?
Yes.
We
the
haven't
last
put
Monday
those
of-
on the calendar, but
Yeah.
that's our intention.
Yeah, I emailed John and Joanne and said that if we could please get a Zoom tonight, because you couldn't make it up here, and our bylaws or rules, whatever, state that if we can't do that, we could go to a Zoom. But the rest, if we can schedule everything out and know that they would recommend that we do live in person.
Mhm.
And so I told them we would do the last Monday of the month, and it would be at 6:30.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Do I don't know if we need to approve this? I don't think so. It's kind of housekeeping.
Nope, I think it's fine.
Alrighty, well, since we don't have property owner comments, since they're not on our agenda, I don't know if we have anything else to cover at the moment, Michael.
I don't know if there's any, well, it's not on our agenda, but I don't know if there's anybody that had comments or a question or anything. We don't,
Maybe we can ask John if anyone is in attendance. That would
Yeah.
help us know how big a room to schedule too.
We do
Yeah.
have one attendee with us, so I suppose if you wanted to field any questions, they could use a raise hand in Zoom.
Yeah,
Sure.
fine. We're had so little to say tonight.
Otherwise, if they don't raise their hand, then we can just assume that they're here just to observe.
Mhm.
Okay. In our agendas, John, for that, do we need to put that? We should put that in the agenda, right?
Property owner comment.
Yes.
Well, owner's comments. That's going to be up to you guys, I suppose.
Well, actually, it doesn't matter. They're going to be in person anyway. So, but yeah.
Good point.
All right.
Alrighty.
Not seeing any hands raised. Yep.
Okay. Well,
Michael, I guess I'll move to adjourn.
I will second that.
And thank you, John, for having to interrupt your evening for our brief meeting, but very grateful that I could zoom in.
No problem.
Okay.
Good to help.
And all in favor?